Give us a blessing for the day, please.
I te atua kaharawa kia tatamai koe kia mātou I tēnei rā, manaaki te a mātou mahi katoa I rungi te ingoa. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Trin. Do we have any, are we all on go? Yep. Live streaming on? Okay. All good. Apologies. Apologies, a full house today, so good to see. No apologies. Any conflicts of interest on any of the items, please, councillors? That being the case, I'd like to welcome members of the public and members of the press and staff here this afternoon. We'll go to item 1. It's a confirmation of the minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting on the 16th of May. I might as well go these on block if we go to 31st of May. Any queries on those? Verification? Matters arising?
Just have a,
Yes, Councillor Stewart.
just a correction. I went to a blessing at Delaney Park, not Spa Park. If I could just have that changed.
That's 1 bar, what?
1 bar 13.
1 bar 13. Thank you, Councillor Stewart.
14. 1 bar 14.
And then the extraordinary meeting on the
I've
30th.
got two matters to rise out of the 31st of May.
Councillor Body.
The first one is regards Your Worship to the Waikato Plan Joint Committee, and I asked you how many meetings you had missed. You said 1. Do you want to update how many meetings you've missed?
That was what I was led to believe I'd missed. Whether I'd missed any workshops, I'm not too sure.
You have, in fact, Your Worship missed 3, the 4th of July, 14th of September and the 18th of April. I believe you went to one this month. Councillor Park went to 2 of those. The reason I raised it, on my agenda paper, when this was discussed on the 23rd of May, I wrote down the Mayoral Forum has requested my participation, and I was adamant on that day that if you were unable to attend any mayoral duties in town or in the district, that Councillor Pickling would fill in. So I've just raised my concern that mayors are attending, but our council is not represented by its mayor.
Councillor Body, I apologise for that. I didn't have the correct details at the time, but accept that. But Councillor Park is the very able participant in that.
Thank you. Just through the chair, I'd be quite happy for the deputy mayor to be the alternate on that committee, but I was elected by this council.
Councillor, you misinterpreted. What I was stating was if His Worship could not attend a district event or a meeting because of the Mayoral Forum, then his deputy would stand in. You are the deputy. I've got no problem with that.
Okay.
Chairman, the second one.
And Councillor Park, I endorse the work you've done on that plan too.
The second one, Chairman, is
page, please.
sorry,
What page?
1 bar 10. Just
1 bar 10.
In regards of electric vehicle charges, it states that we're calling for expressions of interest. Where are we on that at the moment?
A bit of interference here, sorry.
Mr. Lewis.
I reviewed a notice that'll be going out in the newspaper in the next 3 or 4 days seeking expressions of interest.
I'll just bring to the knowledge of the council, there was a press release on Friday the 10th of June from the Christchurch City Council where they've established an electrical vehicle forum involving Orion, Contact Energy, Meridium Energy and Main Power. Are we looking at companies like that as part of our research?
We're putting it open to expressions of interest for anyone who wishes to express that interest.
So we're not specifically, through you, Mr. Chairman, going to any of those types of energy companies?
No, that's correct.
Thank you.
Okay,
Through the chair.
Councillor Williamson.
Just regarding page 1 bar 9, just regarding the underpass funding, I presume it's a bit too early to have, for the Break Tower to have confirmed that they're getting the balance of the funding.
Mr. Lewis. Oh, sorry, or representative on the bike.
Yeah, just through
Councillor
the
Park.
chair, the funding applications close at the end of June, so it probably be maybe 8 weeks, I'd say.
Okay,
Around there.
thank you. Yeah.
I'll keep you updated.
Just through the chair.
Councillor Jollins.
Sorry. Move closer to my one, it's not as loud as Mr Dennis's. Just on 1 bar 5, just for the sake of accuracy and clarity, on the third point under Waitahanui Water, we say we received legal advice. Can we just put for the record that that's in-house legal advice, please?
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, any other matters arising from those minutes? That being the case, I'll move those on block there. Could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Park, seconded by Councillor Stewart. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Item number 2, receipt of the minutes and consideration of the recommendation here for the Taupo. We'll go to the Taupo Airport Authority Committee meeting first. Any matters arising from those minutes or any points of clarification? Okay, we go to Turangi Tongariro Community Board meeting on the 14th of June.
We have a recommendation. You go.
Matters arising for one. Which
The
page?
2 bar 6.
2 bar 6.
You go, Maggie. You
Oh,
go
right.
first on that one. I'll go
Sorry,
second.
2 bar 6. We have a recommendation in there from the Turangi Tongariro Community Board that we have an unbudgeted capital expenditure asking to be approved of $38,000 for a toilet to be put at Stunt Bay. And we would very much like that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stewart.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
Cousins.
I was just going to, basically on what we've said today with Nick Carroll in regards to the SIPS plan up here and the feasibility study in Turangi. We've spoken about briefly at Community Board again this meeting, that they'll be coming to us next meeting with a presentation and a request for funds to pay for that, for the feasibility study, which is basically our SIPS plan. We are seeking support for that.
That'll come from the Community Board.
Yep.
Thank you, Councillor Cousins. Any other matters arising from those minutes? Do you want me to move those on block? Or do you want me to move them separately? Yep. Okay, moved by Councillor Cousins and seconded by Councillor Stewart. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. And that's 1 and 2. That's the recommendation be adopted as well.
Thank you.
Item number 3 is the fees and charges. 2016-17 year. Mrs. Ariel King. Afternoon, Ariel.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So this item allows Council to adopt the fees and charges for 2016-17 and also allows Council to adopt the responses to those submissions that were made on the proposed fees and charges for 2016. As you know, there was two parts to that process. One is the animal management and environmental health fees, excuse me, that you discussed at the end of May, and then there's the other fees and charges which you can now consider. So is there any comments or questions?
Thanks, Ariel.
I move that they be accepted. All that was red is now black, so they appear to be correct to me.
Okay, well, so actually been moved. Does anyone else want to comment, or can I call for a seconder, please? Seconded by Councillor Harvey. Any other further discussion?
Sure, I've just got one question. I raised probably 6 months ago the climbing wall, which we decided in the long-term plan to continue with, and at the time I think Mr. Ridd indicated because of the bedding in of the new whatever, there was not much information that we could require. I'm wondering whether we could have a full report by the July, which I think will be the August meeting, because we're meeting the first week of August, I think, is that correct? For that next meeting, so we can actually see how it's tracking to the decisions we made in the long-term plan, if that's possible, please.
Cool. Thank you, Councillor Boddy. Any other questions and queries on that item? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Item number 4, adoption of the annual plan 2016-2017. Ariel.
As you know, we've been through a process to develop the annual plan for 2016. That included the matters that we consulted on in the consultation document. We have deliberated on those submissions and you have made some decisions which are now included in the annual plan which you have before you. So this item allows you to adopt that annual plan, and it also allows you to adopt the responses to the submissions which were considered out of scope in terms of the consultation document. It also allows you to respond to the submitters who made a submission in regards to the Watahanui proposal. So that's the purpose of this item.
Okay, thanks, Ariel. Any questions of Ariel or any comments?
Mr. Chairman, there's a couple of things in the annual plan. It's only some words that have been missed out, and there's only 4 of them, or 3 of them. Page 12. What I noticed as I went through it, if we look at page 12 to start with, it's water schedule, capital expenditure, and it talks about WTP upgrade to meet. It doesn't actually state where it is, or bulk meter flows. Well, bulk meter flows not included, but it's actually Acacia Bay. Further in the document, those areas where it actually is happening, such as security of supply, that's hard to be, but it's not mentioned. So we then turn to page 21. That's very similar. So the optimisations, Acacia Bay, monitoring boards can lock like that. And then the last one is 32. Just someone one day might read it.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I can respond to it. So we can amend that to include the locations, and there'll also be a minor amendment to those tables to include down the bottom of all of them that's a total. So one of the things I should point out is that this document will only look very slightly different when it's published to what it looks like now, and that will because we'll include pictures and things like that, but it won't change any of the content, but we will add those locations into the capital expenditure schedules against each group of activities.
Well, if we turn to page 32 and it's right at the bottom, it relates to renewals, but further on in the document that support services, software, etc. So if those words could also be added. Thank you.
Councillor Suski.
Thank you, Your Worship. I raised this matter informally before, and I'm not sure whether it is the right format or whether we are going to discuss this later on. But I'm just wondering what my fellow councillors are thinking about the point on page 29, the 4th bullet point, whether we should leave that in there or whether it should come out at this present point of time.
Could you explain your reasons, Councillor?
What, sorry?
Could you explain your reasonings?
Well, as I said in my emails to you, it's the first time that it appears. There is no provision in our funding impact statement for it, and it hasn't gone out to any consultation documentation whatsoever. So it would. But I know it's a matter that it's going to crop up later on in our debate, so it may be something for potentially.
So if you want to change it, now is the time, because once you adopt the annual plan, then it's too late. Is what we spoke about on that email. Whilst it's in there, the legislation will come in if it is in its current form and force things through. But whether it's in here or not, it won't make any difference to that process. So we are in your hands in terms of that.
Except that it could be interpreted as our council has discussed the matter rather than being a legislative requirement, which is outside of our control.
Through the point, through the chair, I think Councillor Strauss has a point. It's probably more appropriate to be in the next long-term plan. I would support that his concern on that one.
Okay, what do the other councillors feel?
I'd agree with Councillor Williamson.
And I'd agree with Councillor Bernard as well.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Erin.
So are you referring to the development of the total catchment document? That's the one you're referring to?
Yeah.
So that was in our long-term plan for 16-17. And some information around that, so.
There was no funding impact statement.
No.
I personally would feel more comfortable with that. It's over to the.
Okay, well, it seems to be you're nodding the heads that they agree with you, Councillor Krastowski, so thank you for raising that. So please delete that.
Could we please have something recorded in the minutes as to the reason why? Because it was in the long-term plan, and so now effectively we're removing it through this process. So I just want that recorded. So there's a reason against that.
Okay, so the reason is for the financial.
There's no funding impact statement.
No funding impact statement. Subject to future legislative process.
Correct.
Is that right, Shani? All right. Okay. Any other questions or queries?
You're going to move that it be adopted now.
Well, there's a recommended resolution there.
Chairman, I'm wondering whether you'd give due consideration to Standing Order 3.9.5 in regards of the chairperson or any member may require a motion expressed in parts to be decided in parts. Now, that's not necessary in parts. There's parts of the annual plan that I wish to support, but there's parts of the annual plan I don't support, and part of it is the rates statement in regards of the remissions for Waitanui Water. So I know it happened during the major event of Land Value versus Capital Value, where one member abstained and others voted, but were unhappy with one part of it. It wasn't handled in two parts. I'm not sure, as this isn't broken up more than it is now, it's just the annual plan responses to submissions. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to say a blanket no.
You
basically have to realise that there you have to
adopt
the resolution needs to be specific, like that long-term plan when you're going through specific, in the early stages you're going through specific sections. So I don't think you get away from the resolution as written there.
So effectively, further clarification, can Mr Green explain to me why, because I've asked this before, we said it couldn't be done, and I think the CEO came back and said yes, it could after the event. So during an annual plan, a long-term plan, you can't take resolutions in parts, but you can to do with any other resolution at council.
So in terms of what happened with the long-term plan last time was that, I'm thinking 2012, I think. But even in the 2015 long-term plan, we had a set of resolutions that were adopted in terms of the direction that you wanted to take with that long-term plan. And then when we came back to you in June, you actually adopted the long-term plan in its entirety. And I think you made the call at that stage. I'm just trying to remember if...
You make a call then for it to be divided, no.
No, I couldn't remember. So I think that's... and that's, if you like, what has happened with this annual plan as well. We've had that deliberations process where you've decided which way you would sit on each resolution that we had at that process, but now you need to make a decision as to whether you want to adopt the annual plan in its entirety.
On that particular issue, didn't we actually include it would be reviewed in 3 years' time anyway? Yes. The long-term process.
Yeah, part of that, yes. So I mean, the bottom line is that we do need a resolution saying that the annual plan is adopted, so that then we've got something to be able to set the rate on, essentially. So that does need to be a single resolution.
The question that council body is can't cherry pick, basically. You can't pick parts of the annual plan and support the, not pick the other parts.
No, the annual plan needs to be adopted in its entirety, or not. Yeah.
Or not, but I would prefer that it was.
All right. Okay.
I just through the chair, I note too that the next agenda item, which is when we discuss the rates resolution, there isn't actually a resolution on that item. Because they are sort of linked together, or am I just missing?
The resolution on that next item, and we'll talk about when we get there, is everything from page 5.1 where it says recommended resolution all the way through.
It's a series of resolutions for that one.
So that,
it's a series.
that's one big long resolution.
It's probably the longest resolution we've had.
It's the longest resolution of the year.
Top of 5.1, Councillor Johns.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so it's quite...
And it's a very long, it's unusual, but we need to do, and we'll talk about that when we get to that item, but we have to do that to meet the legislative requirements of setting the rate.
So effectively what you're saying, we can do the annual plan, but the funding impact statement has to be part of that resolution.
So when
So, through you, Mr Chair.
Yes,
So as I'm reading councillor Body's question in the rates, surely the adoption of the annual plan, whilst I know it includes the rates, but then item 5 refers specifically to the rates. So surely he could probably vote against the rate, number 5 item, but vote for the annual plan.
Well, unfortunately, I can't do that because I'm opposed to the Waitanui Water, which was part of the annual plan.
Yeah, well, I'm just
Ariel,
this has got to be adopted in its entirety.
Well, then could I ask a further question of clarification? When we were out in the consultation document into regards of 5 Mile Waitanui, and this is very small figures, we said that the annual rate would be 459. Now, the annual rate has come out at 456. Now, we're also told in documentation that if no one in Waitanui extra over that 36 picked up to go on the scheme, we would be facing in the Taupo water supply scheme another $8.60 on that targeted rates. Now, this comes in from the 1st of July, but it's not shown. Am I missing something?
We haven't started the construction yet, so until that point we won't be rating people for the additional cost.
So someone could decide to come on in the next 12 months if we're that quick in getting it done and not pay?
Theoretically, yes, but I don't think it's likely for that type of swift construction.
Therefore, we'll be voting on the water supply for the Taupo scheme at 5, whatever it happens to be, 456. Is that correct? Okay, thank you.
okay, were you going to say something then, Ariel? Did you?
No, that's all, thank you.
All right, any other questions or queries? Okay, there's a recommended resolution there that we adopt the annual plan. Do I have a mover, please?
Yeah, I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Williamson, seconded by Councillor Hickling.
And just to confirm, it's all one package.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak in favour? Anyone like to speak against?
I agree with Councillor Body. I don't feel comfortable putting this through on mass. I haven't seen we have to, but I'll vote no. I'm not comfortable with the situation.
Okay. All right. Anyone else want to vote? Want to comment? Okay. Been moved and seconded. It's moved by Councillor Williamson, seconded by Councillor Hickling. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against?
No.
No.
Okay, so we have Councillor Cousins.
Could I call for a division, please?
A division, please, Mr. CEO. For the resolution, Councillor Krasowski.
Well, seeing I wasn't here for the deliberations, I think it would be unfair for me to make a call one way or another, and therefore I have to abstain.
You're abstaining? Yep. Councillor Harvey? What? 4?
Yeah.
Yes.
4. Cousins? No. Councillor Body? No. Councillor
4.
No.
All right. The resolution is passed. Item number 5. Rates Resolution 2016 and 2017. Right. Revenue Manager.
So as a carry on from the annual plan, this allows you to authorise provides for all your rates and charges and authorises council to assess those rates and charges and charge late payment penalties. So Tony will answer any questions that you have on this item. As noted, there are a series of resolutions, and it takes you through those resolutions which relate to our information in our funding impact statement.
Okay, good afternoon, Tony. Nice to see you. Any questions? Do you want to talk to the item, Tony, or just take any questions?
Quite right.
Take the item as read. Any questions or queries of Tony or Ariel?
Other than this is a separate resolution, not part of that.
Starts on 5.1. Resolution goes for the rest of the block, doesn't it?
Yeah, through to 5.6.
Back to number 13. 5.6, 5 past 6. Okay, any questions about the rates? Councillor Jollins.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a point of clarification for me, and it relates back to Waitahanui Water again. Sorry, I'm sounding like a broken record. How are you going to account for how you're going to distribute those charges across the wider scheme as this project unfolds? Because obviously it's not included in here at the moment. Are you going to have a separate fund? How are you going to manage it? I'd like to understand.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Waitahanui Water,
Yep.
when we actually start constructing and we've got costs that we need to recover, how are you going to account for that and change the water rate charges for the Taupo Water Scheme? How is that going to work?
Sure, okay. Basically the same as any other capital project. So the project itself will be funded like we do a capital project. In this case, there'll be $1 million roughly loan, and the balance is funded by the Ministry of Health subsidy to a value somewhere in the vicinity of $3 million overall. So we'll raise a loan for that $1 million, and the interest flows will then go back against the Taupo scheme. Likewise, any maintenance and depreciation costs over time. In terms of when the rate will first change for consolidate, that will actually depend on the completion of the project. At this stage, I think that will likely be 18-19 will be the first time we see that consolidated, because the project will run over 16-17 and 17-18 financial years, and you can only set the rates once a year. You can't vary them during the year. So at this stage, the first time for a consolidated rate will be 18-19. Yeah.
So that extra $1 million, just to clarify, is going against the total debt owing on the scheme. It was not
On the Taupo scheme.
on the Taupo scheme.
That is correct, yeah. Yeah. So not too dissimilar to, for example, we spent $27 million over the road, so the interest costs and the maintenance costs on that obviously spread across the Taupo ratepayers.
I guess I sort of asked the question and just asking ourselves how we'll just maintain some visibility on it all as it goes into the washing machine that is that big piece of debt.
Every single project that we have for council has its own funding line, and whether that be funded by loan, whether it be funded by reserve, every single project we do has a funding line, and it's, yes, we aggregate all those numbers up from an annual plan point of view, but we also have it all kept down at that low level, so we know exactly what that is.
Chair,
Councillor Cousins.
let's ask you, Neil, what sort of interest rate currently we'll be looking at for $1 million?
We're looking around weighted average around 5.8, something like that at the moment across the entire council book.
5.8.
Yeah.
What sort of
If we were raising new loans, so I guess we need to probably get a little bit of clarity around that, because that's the big picture overall. If we were to go out and raise new individual debt now, it varies, but when we talk about funding council, we talk about it at the total level. Should be about 4.95 or not? Like I said, there's a range of interest rates across all the loans of the council, depending on when they were raised and the market conditions at the time they were raised. So some loans were raised 10 years ago, some 5 years ago. So if I were to go out and raise debt today on standalone on an individual project, it'll be a lot less than that. But we do a weighted average cost across all of council.
I'm sure you'll get us the best deal. We know where you live.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, just clarification on the rates remission for Waitanui Water, even though it may be 2018 before it comes on, part of the 16-17 year annual plan includes those rate remissions. The hypotheticals, you said they're not going to exist, but they're in the plan.
The policy is enacted from 16-17, but there won't be any eligibility for it until 18-19, so it's getting the framework in place.
So there's an assurance that this is where I find the difficulty in having to vote in totality rather than sectioning it out.
Okay, all right. Any other questions or queries of Mr. Ward or Tony or Aaron? All right, there's Councillor Park.
I'm just happy to move the recommended resolution.
Okay, so it starts on 5/1 and finishes on 5/6. Been moved by Councillor Park, seconded by Councillor Truman.
Just another clarification, if somebody as a councillor votes against the annual plan and then votes for the policy on rating, is it null and void?
No, you can vote. Sorry.
They're two separate documents. So the policy itself is a standalone policy that you've already adopted, and then the annual plan is a standalone document as well.
Thank you.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Does anyone want to speak against?
Been in a good mood at the moment, Your Worship.
All right, all those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Okay, thank you very much, Tony and Ariel. Item number 6, Acting Chief Executive's report.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So I'll keep it very brief and then hand over to you to ask any questions that you may have. I guess just a couple of things to point out. The first one obviously is that we're very nearly at the end of the financial year, hence you'll see some of the projects in the service delivery or in the rest of the report, project performance, turning red. I'd say that's just a virtue of the fact that we are near the end of the year, and so those projects which we've talked about as the year's gone on, obviously now look like they're red because we clearly aren't going to complete them by the end of the financial year. The only other things I'd point out is obviously the big ticket items that we're starting now is starting the discussion on freedom camping, and I'd note that we put some Facebook commentary out on the weekend. I think we got the largest ever reach of that Facebook marketing that we've ever had. 9,000 odd reached 9,000 people, and a large number of comments came through. So that's obviously hitting a nerve out there in the community. Likewise, Kinloch, we're out there at the moment undertaking the consultation that you've approved, and that's getting a little bit of localised feedback in Kinloch. Other points to note is that we're still working with the Three Waters contractor, which is going to be starting at the 1st of July, as I understand it, Dennis. And so that's a big bit of work that the team are going through at the moment, getting the new contractor up to speed with all of our processes and procedures. And the other big one at the moment is dog registration. So if you see the ladies downstairs looking frazzled, it'll be because a whole lot of people are coming in paying their dog registration fees, and that always brings out the best in people. So other than that, I'll leave it to any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you, Mr Green. Any questions, Councillor Krastowski?
I just have a couple if I may. 6/4, the top paragraph about Kinloch Reserve. I understand that we have received a legal challenge.
No, we haven't received a legal challenge. We've received a letter from a lawyer on behalf of one of the properties, which has just been replied to by our solicitor, and I've asked that be shared with you in your weekly communication at the end of the week.
Okay, thank you. And my second question was relating to 6/18 under the Museum and Art Gallery. I see that we have a slight drop in the number of people visiting it, but then one of the sentences says that this correlates with an overall decrease in the number of Taupo visitors for the year to date. My understanding was that our visitor numbers have increased, not decreased. Am I reading something wrong there, or?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I think the word museum is missing from that, as opposed to the global visitors to
Yeah, I
town.
think so.
Yeah, Bernadette, it's visitors to the museum that have decreased, not visitors to Taupo.
So we differentiate for the museum. It's one of our few facilities. We differentiate between locals and out-of-towners. So locals get free and out-of-towners pay. So that's that.
Even so, one would have expected an increase rather than a decrease.
There's a word difference there. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Councillor Cousins.
Through the chair, just some comments and questions. Page 6/1, just under Turangi Tongariro Community Board. Just wanted to say, because we don't say it enough, John, can you pass back to staff big thanks to the pool staff for getting that pool sorted like they did, and also to Greg and Annette. I appreciate everything they have done. I mean, we quite quickly to have a piece of staff that don't down to it, and I want to say big thanks.
Sure. I'll pass that on. Thank you for that.
Please pass it on. Moving through to 6(4), under all food, the red orange dot. Short-term contractor brought in to assist with the remaining food audits. There might be something I might be missing because I wasn't here at last council meeting, but I didn't see anything in those minutes. Are we behind for some reason? I know there's new legislation, but how far behind?
We're through the chair. We're in the process of trying to catch up. We were down on staff, so we've got a couple of contractors in assisting with the field work to try and achieve what we did. But
is any exposure? Talking about risk, is there any exposure to council for that being behind?
no.
Okay, very good. Also on that page under. Discussion with our vendors are ongoing to upgrade the system. What is that? That's just beneath highlights, not current issues. Who's the vendors?
What page are you?
6(14) is the orange dot highlights, and I think they've got current issues. It says discussions with our vendor are ongoing.
So we're looking at, so there's the IT systems. So we're looking at our IT systems in its totality, and we'll bring something back to you in due course.
No, very good. Just and so. I'm busy for a while. 6(24), underneath the very bottom page, the bottom chart, you've got the district's events. I know the Turangi pig hunting competition was the biggest it ever had. I think it's right that we write a letter of thanks to the organisers from council to say that we really appreciate the effort they've done. They do it for love of the district and of their pastime. I think we should say big thanks to them for the effort they've done. And the last thing I wanted to ask Alan was post-Brexit, what's our Tesco shares worth? I want to talk about that? Okay.
Are you talking about England being eliminated from the European soccer, or?
All day. They were selling at 162, but they got rid of their coffee business, so they should go up.
It's a good point though, Councillor Cousins, the Brexit, just while we've got the finance manager here or the chief accountant, is there any complications going forward?
I think it's too early to tell, really. Yesterday, for example, the Asian market went up. Overnight, the British market went down, the pound's still falling. I think it's pretty much a wait and see.
Buy some pounds.
Yeah, just to clarify, on 6(12), under emergency management, it says the Waikato region has adopted the group plan. It's adopted the proposed group plan. It won't be finalised until November.
Thank you, Councillor Park. All right, any other questions of the acting CEO?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, 6(7), which I've talked to Mr. Ridd and Mr. Green about, it relates to Unison's, to do with the lights, Crown Park. It's got here, they've kept the price at 29,000, last month they said 21, and then the contract has been awarded for the sum of 142. It was a total of 179,000, and it's showing 179,000, it was now last month 171. I think Mr. Ridd has an explanation.
Yeah, there's a couple of issues here. The cost of the job is 171, but the inaccuracy is the green. That should read 200,000. When the budget was adopted in March, that was the budget that was resolved by council. So I need to correct that for the next report. So it should read 200,000.
Are we still receiving the complimentary generator or from Unison?
It's not complimentary. I think it was cost sharing. So the cost sharing is capped at 29,000 from Unison. So yeah.
One more query, Mr. Chair, which is taken up with Mr. Green.
Councillor Body.
Normally the list of projects we get is 11. This month there's 10, and it transpires that the document to do with the Waitanui water isn't included this month, and Mr. Green had a reason for that.
So essentially, you've just signed that off. So it's no longer a project because you've just signed it off the investigation part of it. But it will become a new project now that you have approved it going into the future. So
wouldn't it have been better to have left it until we've approved it and then taken it out?
Horses for courses, I guess. But it'll be a new project now that you've approved it for the future.
So it will now show next month as a project. Thank you.
Councillor Williamson.
Yes, through the chair. I certainly don't have any concerns, quite the contrary. But just curiously, looking on page 6/44 regarding pool membership, had a budget of 53,000K. Is that just the AC bars or is that 3 pools? On page 6/44 H. And gym membership, they had just picking up on that. Yeah.
That'll be the district figure.
District one. Okay.
Councillor Williamson.
I have one more question to ask, or a request actually. Councillor Cousins has raised the issue of our Tesco shares. It's some time since we had a printout of what our share portfolio is doing. I'd like to see staff perhaps give us what we've done from 1st of July last year to 30th of June this year in regards of income. I know we've had some dividend repayments or payments made on those shares, but I'd like to see how they're tracking, particularly those that we may have had there for some time that may have devalued quite markedly. So that's what I would like to see.
Chair, for the next council meeting, maybe things will settle down then, Owen?
I don't think the exchange rate would have, but yeah.
Just to see where we're tracking for the last 12 months. It's some time, as I said, since we had that info.
Just on the equities?
On the equities.
Yeah.
All of that information actually forms part of the annual report. So we could do a separate report, or you could just wait until you get the annual report, because all of that stuff we have to disclose anyway through the annual report, but up to what councillors wish.
We'll do a separate report, and one of the aspects of equities which we have been very restrained about is the actual dividend yield. With the way the interest rates are at the moment, the dividend yield is often greater than the investment yield, but as per our workshop this morning on our risk profile, we have a very low risk profile, so therefore we have been very conservative in that regard.
Just to say, Mr Chairman, that the last one that I saw, and in fact all councillors got it, it had what we paid, what they're now worth, the number of shares. And if we had the dividend returns in any of those, it would be helpful as well.
Yep.
All right, okay, any other questions? All right, there's a recommended resolution on 6/4 contained in the acting report, I think. Word on that, Danny. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Jollins, seconded by Councillor Cousins. All those in favour, please say aye. Against? Carried. Item number 7, property update report. Good afternoon, Sue.
Afternoon. So the property update for June, I'll take the item as being read. There have been a couple of updates since this was prepared. 4 properties in the unconditional section have now settled. In the on the market section, we have 1 property which has now gone unconditional, 1 is due to go unconditional today, and there are sale and purchases out on 2 of the others. So that leaves 1 available for sale at this stage.
That's botanical.
That's a botanical, yes.
So 1 left to sell.
1 left.
Okay. So what was the trigger point for doing the...
So the trigger point was 9.
9, yep.
So we have 8 unconditional with 1 to go today, which takes it to the trigger point.
Okay, cool. Yep. So probably see
So
something with
that process has been started.
Yes. Okay.
We're preparing the plans themselves. There's been some savings that have been identified, so the plans are being altered, and then they'll go out to tender.
Will we see that first though? Do we need a resolution to do that?
The resolution that you passed, I'm
The-
pretty sure,
it's
was to go
passed.
ahead at that time.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And
Thank you,
at
Sue.
the
Councillor
last,
Body.
sorry to harp on about that. At the last council meeting, maybe we have to do it more formally. I asked for a report on that property subdivision. It's now 24 to 26 months since we started. We had documentation at the time from some real estate companies to suggest we'd sell 1 section a month for 12 months. We've now gone 26 months. I want to know what the total cost to the ratepayer has been for that full development. As you know, at the time, it was at a meeting we had down at Turing. I voted against the subdivision. I don't believe it's the core job of council to develop property. I stand by that, but I'd like a report to back my feelings up. If it has to be done formally, then I'll write a letter to the acting CEO.
I can't promise that it will back your feelings up, but we'll certainly put a report on the next agenda with the facts. That's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions of Sue?
And also, just a quick update on Moa Lane. There's been a scheme plan has been drawn up for an additional 4 lots for that, for those sections there, and that will be put to an agenda item at the next council meeting.
So Moa Lane, that's
So Moa
Victoria?
Lane, Victoria.
Victoria,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Councillor Park.
Thank you. 125 Hughes Street seems to, was that relisted?
It's, you mean, is it on the market?
Yeah, it was going to be relisted this week, wasn't it?
I think so, yes. We're looking at a new agent for that. Yeah.
Over here. Just through the chair. I completely forgot what I was going to say
That's
then.
the cousin.
I could be. I did some bit of research, and I think some of those sections we've sold are coming back on privately for resale now, aren't they? Could be wrong. I'm sure I saw 1 or 2 there being listed for sale at lower prices than what they bought them for.
You're talking about Botanical?
Yeah.
At lower prices.
Yes.
Once it's sold, it's sold.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Okay.
fine, but I'm
Yeah.
worried about values. That was all. If someone's out there trying to sell, yeah.
Mm.
McRae's will know better. She's a tough
I
agent.
wouldn't have thought so, but I haven't had a look around yet.
All right, okay, thank you, Sue. Where's your offsider today?
He's away today.
He's away, okay. All right, recommended resolution there, the information be received, and keep up the good work, thank you very much. And moved by councillor Stewart, seconded by councillor Park. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
It's against, carried. Item 8, reduction in number of directors for Destination Great Lake Taupo, isn't it?
No,
Supposed
not
to
this
be.
one.
Destination Lake Taupo Limited. Just checking. Jeanette,
Hi,
how are you?
good, thank you. This is to me, it's a mechanical item, so I would take it as read and I'll answer any questions. Just to clarify, this is for Destination Lake Taupo Limited. It's a shelf company, which we have to protect the name.
Thank you, Jeanette. So just a technicality here. Councillor Krasowski.
Thank you for that, Jeanette. Just on 8.4, under number 12, if we're reducing the names, the number of directors, then presumably the quorum of a meeting must reduce down to 1 as well.
Yes, thank you.
Well done.
Very good. Chocolate fish.
I picked it up, Bernard, but I didn't for a minute. Could someone just explain for my education the reason we have that shelf company? How does it fit into the scheme of things?
It's been here a long time, way before my time, and as I understand it, it was set up to protect the name of Destination Lake Taupo. We had an advisory council way before Destination Great Lake Taupo Trust, and I think this was set up just to protect the name so that no one else can set up a company with that name.
Thank you.
It's usual standard business practice to protect your brand, to get a few variations under the
Okay, thank you, Jeanette. Could I have a mover, please, for recommended resolution? Councillor Krasowski, seconded by Councillor Jollins. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Item number 9, extension of third-party agreement Creative Taupo. This is Tina Jakes. Good afternoon, Tina.
So this one is a bit of a mechanical item as well, and we've got a contract with Creative New Zealand, and one of the things that we've done is have a third-party agreement with Creative Taupo to deliver the funding on our behalf. The timing of those contracts don't line up, so this is to align up for this last financial year, the contract with Creative New Zealand.
Okay, thank you, Tina. Any questions on Tina?
No, I'm happy to move.
Mechanical, it's been moved by Councillor Stewart, seconded by Councillor Cousins. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Item number 10.
Chairman, just before we go on to item number 10, have we had a report on your last trip to China?
So it'll, Councillor Harvey did do her one at the last council meeting, but the official one will be at the August meeting. Quite simply, Chloe has been on annual leave pretty much since we returned, so we haven't had time to
We have what I requested last month to be a full financial report.
Yes.
Could I just also, I don't want to be derogatory, but I didn't realise that Mr Green was going until I received Mr Green's email. So I don't know, I know we got an email from Your Worship to mention Mr Green, but at the same time we got one from Mr Green to say that he was going, and that wasn't passed by council. So I'm not quite sure where we sit on that.
So if I can, the approval process was for 2 councillors, or the mayor and a councillor and 2 staff. Like always, it's up to the CEO to identify out who those staff are that's going to go. So it didn't actually need a council resolution for either of the staff, and we didn't get a resolution for either of those staff, other than the provision of the funds for that.
Okay. If I remember correctly, way back in the day, it said His Worship the Mayor and a staff member.
That was the initial process, and then it modified, and that came back to you, and you debated that at that point in time.
And then we were allowed another councillor plus all the other group that went as well.
So it became a two elected members, 2 staff members at that point in time.
Thank you.
Councillor Harvey, everyone got your report?
No,
I didn't get a copy. It wasn't at the council meeting, was it?
Your Worship, I think
leave one on your desk.
Rosie's report should be tabled today because it was an excellent report. It was just put on our desks, and she's put a lot of time into that report, and I think it should be presented at this meeting.
Got a spare copy?
And unfortunately, I didn't bring my copy with me, but I think it's right that you should present it to this meeting, Rosie. So it's recorded properly.
Yeah, members' reports. So it's the next item.
Under members' reports, yeah. Well, council body brought it up.
Okay, so council engagements, Tina. Any additions?
One to add on to that, and that's on Tuesday the 5th, from 10 to 11, and that's the biosolids.
Tuesday the 5th, and that's facilitated by Mr Aitken, is it?
Sorry?
Is it? No, biosolids, is it?
Yes.
And what time, sorry?
Burma composting, so 10 to 11.
You reckon?
It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome.
All right, okay.
Checking, did we get one come in today, Mrs Jakes, to do with meetings of council?
That was there was one around the elected members' guidelines, just a little catch-up to go through that with you.
Thank you.
And just a note for anyone that's interested, though, that Caldera Symposium's on the 4th of July that Mr Fox has invited us to as well.
Caldera?
Caldera Symposium.
Caldera. All right, thank you, Tina. So we'll just move that resolution. Thank you, Councillor Park, seconded by Councillor Cousins. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Item number 11, members' reports. So, Rosie,
One.
you
Mine, Tina.
table that. I think everyone's got a copy of that, but thank you for that excellent report and also your hard work on that delegation too. You want to talk to it at all, Rosie, or?
Well, I think everyone does have a copy. The only thing I did forget was to sign it. Terribly sorry. But it was, I think I mentioned at the time that it was extremely a valuable trip, and I think there's a lot to be gained by it, and there were meetings being held while we were actually away to further negotiations for that mill that was thought had been shelved, so that was still ongoing. And we did hold an investors' evening, which I think there's more to come from that as well. So, I mean, it certainly was a real eye-opener for me as to how valuable I think future relationships are, well, current relationships are with China. And there's no doubt, I don't think it can be just done by email or I came back with a cold from the air conditioning. But I think it does have to be personal relationships, and I think they have to be just enhanced by further whatever it is, it can't be just over phone and email. I think there has to be ongoing efforts made, and we identified several areas where we need to make more efforts in creating things that the Chinese will want to do when they're here. We talked about restaurants, we talked about all sorts of business ideas and various things which we are still discussing actually with various people. And I think that will help get more tourists here, more business opportunities here. So I think it was well worth going. So that's my opinion, and I think it was really good. And I think everyone who went, and the people that went on the trip as well, the business people, the ladies from the Tūwhare Tower group, gave me a good opportunity to actually get to know them better for future relationships, actually, for other reasons. So it was really, really worthwhile. I thought it was great. Sorry, Zane, if you didn't get a copy, here it is. There's one for you to have a look at.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rosie.
Just while we're on the China topic, and I don't know if it's an appropriate place to talk about it, but the risk stuff we were talking about this morning, because we've been involved in that Chinese issue now, aren't we? With the OIA issue, which concerns me about how we got our risk policy right. We're giving out perhaps wrong information. Is it? Not anymore.
Okay, probably just thank you very much. Councillor Hickley, did you...
No.
That's golf course. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, councillors. Any other members' reports? You got them all there, Shaney?
All right, and just to make the comment, I'm on the Access Committee. We haven't had a meeting to report on this month, but we did last month. I finally received a document that we spent $20,000 or $25,000 on, where we had an audit of the Central Business District for Access Taupo. And what was interesting, I won't read the whole 79 pages, just to point out some of the things. There's 745 residents in Taupo have mobility parking permits. That's 3.8% of the population. 17.2% are aged 65 or over, an increase from 14.4% in 2006, and compares with 14.3% for the whole of New Zealand. But what's also interesting, that they believe to cover the serious risks item from the survey is 175,000. Now, I believe it's in staff hands whether they're going to come back, both Rosie and Claire, but it makes very, very interesting reading. So no doubt there'll be documents in the office for people to get.
Oh, yep, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, and just wanted to, say we had the opening of our Civic Centre playground in Mangakino yesterday, and the sun managed to shine for 10 minutes or so while we did it. But yeah, it was really great.
Great. It was good.
Great day.
And well done.
Yep.
Various groups are involved with that. It was fantastic. So, congratulations there. All right. So
just through the chair,
yes, Councillor Cousins.
Council may be aware of the ongoing issues we have with the Lions Company in Turangi. It's sort of reached a new crescendo this morning with the New Zealand Herald doing an article.
Yes, it was one of their business reporters, and she did a 170-something word article on the Lions Company, and Elizabeth Angleseed, who is the communications officer for the Lions Company, I won't repeat what she's put in the press, but it wasn't a very good comment, and I think there's been some very angry responses to her comments. And TV3 are in Turangi actually at the moment, doing a follow-up on it. So I'm glad that it's finally taken some traction, because we've been battling the Lions Company in Turangi with the support of the Community Board since about 2007, maybe earlier. And
do we say battling or trying to enhance discussion?
Well, enhanced discussion on the Community Board side, battling on the community side. I would think that would be how the community would see it. And it is needing to be worked through. And I think that the more exposure it gets, the more that the two parties will actually come and have those discussions that are necessary.
What's the problem?
In Turangi, it's the pricing methodology that is used. No, Rosie, it's the way the Lines Company make up their charges for people. They do it on a peak demand, and over the winter time they do 6 periods where they take the peak that you have used of your power and they average it out, and you are charged that peak for the whole year. We've got people in Turangi who get $60 power bills but are paying $120 in lines charges. It's and the Lines Company need to, when they are controlling is when they are looking at the peaks. And they have got widgets and a map that tell people when they're controlling so that you can turn everything off. But that also means that people get cold and don't cook their dinners on time and things like that. But that's the issue, is that those devices that are there for you to use are not, they're not accurate. And so you can think it's okay, the light's green, I can cook my dinner, and actually it's not. And you will get peaked. And the amount of conversations in houses in Turangi about power prices is incredible. It just goes on, and we have got elderly people in Turangi, we've got young families in Turangi, and we've got business people in Turangi who are suffering through this. And it's been very difficult to get the message out to the rest of New Zealand, because to get an understanding of what the pricing is doing to people is really hard. We've been to a select committee, we've been, the community, when I say we, I mean the community, have been to the select committee, and they came out with the thing that it's legal. Well, we knew it was legal when we went in with that debate to ask them to look at this. It's the moral
Elizabeth Anglesey came out this morning in the paper and said that the problem would soon be gone because our people who are complaining are old and they'll be dead soon.
Yes, and that's what I wasn't going to say, but that's how she put it this morning.
I've asked for her resignation because I think it's a no-go area.
And that comment is what has rattled a lot of cages, and people are going to sit up and take notice. And the Taupo Times have been collecting people's bills, power bills and Lines Company bills, and they are putting together an article about this too, which will be coming out soon, and to help the Turangi community get their message out that they are hurting.
And thank you to Matt Shanson there in the back.
Yes, thank you,
for all the work
Matt.
You do. Much appreciated.
So it's, sorry Rosie, but yeah, it's not a small question, it's a big.
Well, it's probably good to have the background, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, it is.
Tell you're passionate about it.
Yes,
Absolutely.
It's an issue. It's
Yes.
certainly an issue.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Suggested resolution there. Councillor Williamson, you moved that, did you?
I did, yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Jollins. All right, all those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Okay. Let's see, go into the confidential section, a resolution to exclude the public. Please, Councillor Williamson, seconded by Councillor Harvey. All those in favour, please say aye.
Fair enough.
I've been fighting.
We'll have a 2-minute break.
Get straight into it. Get straight into it.
No, I do.
Get straight into it.